Once you master creating layers and manipulating layers in Photoshop, the possibilities are endless. So let's start with this photo of a glass. My goal is to make it several different colors by putting copies of this glass on their own layer. I won't make you make the selection. I've got one saved for you. So under the Select menu, I'll choose Load Selection, and the channel is Glass. Channel is the name for your color information, red, green, and blue, and also what they call saved selections, technically an alpha channel. I'll click OK, and if you look at the Layers panel, every image you open, whether it be a scan or digital camera shot, has a locked background layer. But what I want to do is turn this into a layered file. So I will go to the Layer menu, choose New, Layer via Copy. And this is my favorite. In fact, I always remember the shortcut, Jump to a New Layer. If you have a selection, hitting Command-J on the Mac or Control-J on the PC will jump your selected area to a new layer. So let's jump. If I hide the background layer with the eye icon, now we could see the checkerboard. Instead of showing white where it's transparent, the checkerboard area indicates that it's clear. And to be a good Photoshop user, I'm going to name this Glass 1. When you name a layer, it's important to double-click in the middle of the file name. And our original image is still there, unharmed. But I actually want to create some more canvas so I can have 3 or 4 glasses and will vary the colors. So I will zoom out. And not a lot of people know this, but in the crop tool, or using the crop tool I should say, you can actually add canvas size. You don't have to guess and go to Image, Canvas Size. I'd like to do it visually. So once I select the crop tool, I simply pull to the right to create more canvas. It gives me a crop preview, but I'm just going to press Return or Enter or double-click, and now I have more room for more glasses. So the Move tool is your primary way to move layers or copy layers. Right now we just have one layer. Under my Edit menu, you'll notice Copy is grayed out because copy is tied to a selection. Instead of Edit Copy, I'm going to choose Layer Duplicate Layer and name this Glass 2. And you can't really see what's been done until I move. Layer Duplicate Layer, Copy 3, move it over, and for good measure, let's do a 4th glass. Another way to duplicate is to right-click on the layer name and choose Duplicate Layer and Glass 4. Now, almost ready. I'm going to move this over to the right, and so that they look more evenly distributed, I have Glass 4 selected. I will Shift-click on Glass 1. That selected all of them. And there is a button when you're on the Move tool to distribute the centers, or the horizontal centers in this case. And now they're evenly spaced. I could also align the top edges or the bottom edges in case I think it moved. Now if I click on Glass 1 and scoot it a little to the left, I was looking at the right glass when I did that. So it's important to know that you have to target the layer in order to move it in the beginning. When I click Glass 4, I can move it a little to the right, and now Shift-click on all of them and hit my Distribute Horizontal Centers again. Let's start colorizing. So I think I'll start with red. It's important to target Glass 1, and if you forget which glass is on which layer, just hit the eye icon to turn the layer off or on, or hide or show it. And I'm going to use Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, and just start playing with hue until I get to a shade of red. towards the end. There we go. You could colorize, but I want to keep some of the tones in the background. I think it looks more realistic. I'll click OK, and I might decide to change this to glass red, but I can see by the preview that it's red. You get a little thumbnail here in red. I'll choose Glass 2, Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, and let's go for a different shade. I tend to do RGB, red, green, and blue, and I could make it a little more boosted, which might look artificial, or a little darker or lighter. But be careful, moving lightness can go very fake very quickly. All right, last glass, Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, and let's go a little bluer. In fact, our first one was kind of blue, so let's shoot for purple on this one. Or you can choose your own color. Now with the layers, here's a power user trick. I don't want to have to remember to click the layer name itself to move something. It can be frustrating if I'm looking at the blue, but I was still on the green layer to have it move the green when I'm looking at the blue. To use this very super secret auto select, if I check the box on the Move tool for Auto Select, when I move the green and move the purple and move the blue, I can now overlap them all nicely. To create a natural looking glass, I'm going to click on Glass 4 and I'll name all my layers properly. So this will be the blue one. I will lighten the opacity, make it a little bit opaque or transparent, so I could see the other glasses behind. I'll click on the purple one and move it so I know that's selected, and I'm shooting anywhere between 85 and 95. You can use whatever numbers you'd like, and I just need to click on the red, and then I could dial it down. And I'll finish off with the green. I could click it here or in the background. And there, these clear glasses have some transparency. Now, in the Layers panel, the stacking order of your layers is also the stacking order of your objects. So if I want the green glass on top, I'll drag glass green to the top, and it's now the frontmost object. In fact, looking at this, I might want to adjust my canvas if I don't want 4 glasses spread across. So I could use my crop tool, add a little bit to the top, press Return or Enter or double click, and now I'll go back to the Move tool and I can space these a little bit better and place them on top or behind one another. So if I want the red on top of the purple, I drag glass red up, and it's now on top of the purple, but it's still under the green. So experiment with layer stacking order to see what kind of effects you can get. I'm going to finish this off by clicking on the background layer, and at the bottom of the Layers panel, I will choose Create New Fill or Adjustment Layer of a solid color. I want to put these all on a white background. So when I choose solid color, I just click in the very upper left corner, and now they're on white. And now I have my glasses in position, ready for an ad that I'm creating. Not sure what that ad is for yet, but they do look interesting to me with these varying colors. And once I'm all finished, let's give them just a little bit of depth. As a bonus, we will cover effects, which are technically known as layer styles. If I hit FX for effects, I can add a drop shadow to give this a little bit of depth. So I always remember FX for effects, but technically they're called layer styles. And if I scoot layer styles over, I was on the purple glass. So if I turn preview off and on, there you could see a little bit of a shadow. But I can actually make it a lower, deeper shadow and adjust the size up so it's more blurry. To really make my shadows subtle and to put them on to really add depth but not to have them pop off of the image, I use a very light opacity. anywhere between 10 and 40% depending on the image. So I'll click OK, and the glass purple has a drop shadow. If I want each glass to have its own shadow, I can choose Layer, Layer Style, Copy, Layer Style. Click the blue, Layer, Layer Style, Paste Layer Style, and do the same for each. Layer, Layer Style, Paste Layer Style. Or a power user trick, hold down Option or Alt and drag the drop shadow to green, and that's the same as Layer, Layer Style, Paste Layer Style. So you've seen hiding and showing layers, changing the stacking order of layers, adding a new background, which I will name white, and we started by taking the original glass off the original background, which I could probably safely trash at this point, but I'll leave there for illustration purposes. And you should have a good introduction on how layers work, how you create them, how you name them, how you stack them, and apply an effect.